Okay, welcome everybody to Business Statistics, unit number 8. So in unit number 8, we're talking about probability already. So in probability, in this case, we're going to talk about business probability and how it may affect a decision. So we have already a pre-established idea of what may happen. We may say if we launch this defective product, we can save some money, and there's 50% chance that there's refunds. There's 50% chances that it won't happen. Nobody will do anything. So we use probability in order to choose which one gives us a better monetary value. So in this case, we're going to talk about that. We're going to use that, and we're going to start to use decision tree example. So I need you to pay attention to this unit, because this unit is gonna explain what you're gonna be doing in your final exam. In your final exam, you'll have a case where you will have to do a decision tree. You also have an assignment to do this week for decision trees as well. You can do first this case with me, and then you will have your assignment. So pay attention and let's try to follow. So in this example, we're gonna talk about a tender, decision to tender. So what's a decision to tender? So let's say, for example, there's it's like a tender is like an application. So let's say there's a company and they say, well, there's a government. The government says we want to build a bridge. Okay, so we need construction companies that tender for this project, so that apply for this project. So let's say, for example, as the government say, I want to build this bridge, but I don't know how much it's gonna cost. So send me your proposals. So company A says, okay, I can submit this proposal for 100 million. I'm going to use these materials. I'm going to use this. That's my application. That's my proposal. So 100 million one. Company B says, okay, we can do the same application, but ours has more quality. So we are going to do the tender for 150 million. And there's company C. Company C tenders as well, and they say, well, for us, we can do a tender for 50 million. It's much cheaper than the other two companies, but the materials are not that good, and you're only looking at this bridge may last only for 5 to 10 years, while maybe the other companies can last for longer. Maybe it's just a provisional bridge, so that works for you. So that is a tender. The tender is pretty much applying for a certain project. So when we apply for a certain project, we have those options of pricing it higher or lower according to what the customer is. We can adjust that, and then we can fix probability for that. So what's the probability that this project will be chosen as compared to other, if we will make it more expensive or cheaper based on previous experience. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in this assignment. So let's get down to it. Now you understand how it works. So in this case, like I said, this is a company that has, this company is talking about, the different tenders we have. Give me 1 second. This company, for example, we're talking about this company, they have tender for service 1, MS1, which is only one tender, application for MS2, or application for MS1 and MS2. So they are trying to decide, should we apply for the project 1, for project 2, or for project 1 and 2? Which project is gonna give us more money, and which project will be likely awarded by the companies? In this case, like I said, it can be a bridge. Let's think about it as a bridge. So in this case, what is the government gonna choose? Okay, which one is gonna give it to us if we apply for 1 or 2 or 3? What is the likelihood? What is the probability that they gonna accept it? Okay, so now I'm gonna disappear from the screen, say bye-bye to me, and then let's continue. Okay, so in this case, we were saying, I'm back just to audio, so just follow with the instructions that I'm gonna put on the screen. Okay, so in this case, it says your company is considering whether it should tender for 2 contracts on offer from a government department for the supply of certain components. So this one is a certain component. So that means, if, for example, if we were to be accepted for this one, we also have to pay for the components, so don't forget that. So in this case, we have, if tenders are to be submitted by the company will incur in additional costs. So it means if I want to apply for this one, I have to pay additional cost. This cost will have to be entirely recouped by the contracted price. The risk, of course, is that if a tender isn't successful, the company will have made a loss. Okay. So that means, for example, here, if let's look at this one, the cost of tendering for applying for the contract number 1 is I have to put £50,000 in advance. So that means if this contract happens or not, I'm still gonna lose £50,000. Okay, I'm not gonna recover them. If the government says like, I don't like your proposal, just for applying for it, I'm just gonna lose 50,000 for starts. Okay. Now, if this get accepted, that means I will have to deduct this from my final profit. Plus, I have to pay for the component supply cost, which is £18,000. So that means if give me a second. If I apply for this tender and it's unsuccessful, I'm gonna be minus £50,000. Yet, if it's successful, it's gonna be minus 50 plus the cost of material, which is 18,000. Let me put K for 1,000. K stands for 1,000. Okay. So, and then we're gonna look down of how much we can make. So let's start for that one. Okay. So that one is if I am not awarded, I start losing that. But if I'm awarded, it's 50 for the application. You have to bear this in mind. There's two probabilities, okay? That I get it awarded and that I don't get it awarded. What are the chances of that? Later we'll see in the probability, okay? So that is for project number 1. So now, let's look for the project number 2 for the MS2, only MS2. So in this MS2, we have cost of tendering is lesser, 14,000. So that means if I apply for project number 2, this is cheaper. Maybe if my company has less money, it's good. And then if the tender is successful, that means the cost of the component supply is £12,000. So I start with that. Okay. So in this case, give me a minute. So in this case, says in the previous one is if I'm not awarded, I'm gonna start with minus 14,000. Minus 14,000 if not awarded. And then if awarded, and it's minus 14 for the application process, minus 12,000 key. Okay, so let's start to understand a little bit that, and we carry on to the third project, which is if I want to apply for that. If I want to apply for that, then I have to fork out first £15,000, and the component supply will be 24,000. This is the same thing. Okay. Hold on. So minus 50K minus 50K. Okay. If not awarded, and slash minus 24K. Sorry, let me do it in order. Minus 50K and also 24K if awarded. Okay, so we have that information first. Okay, so let's start to fill our probability tree with that information. Okay, so